Hello, and welcome back to Method News, where we talk about science-based manifestation methods and concepts. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this topic. Let's get started. Today, we're talking about identity scripts and using them to manifest your experience of reality. So, once again, identity is our brain's predictive processing program. If this happens, then we will do this because we are this, right? So, identities in scripts can be things like I am this person who works at my job. I am a waitress, a bus driver, a accountant. Uh, I'm a construction worker, whatever. I'm a business manager. Whatever it is that you do becomes part of your identity predictive processing because you spend so much time doing it, so much repetition in it, so much time talking about it with other people, it becomes part of your automated processes. And these automated presets, they're called associations in the brain, and they're basically unconscious protocols. If this happens, then do this. If this happens, then think this. And it's basically what we do to try to feel a certain way. We try to feel stable, safe. Things are predictable. Things are we know what's coming next. This is the body, the brain, the nervous system's primary protocols, right? And everything else is built around this. Now, our early identity scripts come from when we're growing up, come from our society, from the people that we're around, our caregivers, friends, schools, anybody that we interact with, any system that we interact with becomes part of our early automated scripts. So it's important to question those scripts. And it's not going to be natural at first for most people. If it is natural to you, congratulations, because that's awesome. But for most people, it's not because the brain wants to conserve energy. So it takes mental shortcuts. And that includes about you, about yourself, right? You have mental shortcuts about yourself. And the tricky thing about words, about names, about giving a thing a word or a name, the brain shrinks the thing down to the word or the name, the concept, not the full thing itself. Let me give you a good example of this. So a cat, right? When you think cat, maybe you think CAT, maybe you picture the word, maybe you picture a cat, maybe you picture a cat playing, drinking milk, doing whatever, cats typically do, right? But a cat is a very complex biological system, highly adaptive, highly erratic, honestly, because it's so built for survival. We say the cats have intrusive thoughts, right? Because cats are ready for anything. Their if then protocols are like wide open. They're like, I can flip in the air and fly if I need to, right? And they really kind of do. Like I've seen them fly across the room, literally. Because, body builds behavior. That everything that you do physically is in conjunction with what you're doing mentally, right? So doing a lot of laying down, a lot of laying around, unless, you have some good reason to be resting a lot, like you're sick or something like that, but not getting the exercise balance does things to your identity, it does things to your personality. It rewires brain circuits to prioritize moving less, doing less, slowing down, right? And it doesn't always know exactly what it is. I mean, your brain is a man in a cave. It's like it can't see anything. It can't see what's going on outside. It's just using your senses and what you're doing all the time and how you're interpreting things to figure out how to operate in reality. So, moving is almost a sort of blind sort of thing because, yeah, your eyes are seeing light and shadow, but your brain has to interpret all these other things. And if you've ever tripped over your own feet, you get what I'm saying, right? This is one of the reasons, like, I've always been big on developing balance because you never really know what's going on. That interoception, like interoception is where, like, if you had your eyes closed, you know what your body is doing. You can feel what your body is doing. You can feel like where it's moving in the space, right? It's awareness of your body's actions is that interoception. And building that up also builds up the body identity, which is not separate from your mental identity. It's a different category of the same thing, right? And the things that we do all the time, physically, mentally, emotionally, they create story feedback loops. I'm getting up in the morning. I hate my alarm clock. I love eating oatmeal for breakfast. No, I prefer eggs. These are stories about ourselves that our brain is just constantly running in the background. And we pick up on these thoughts and we think that we made them. No, they're just emergent from our system. These ideas, these concepts, these packets of information is really what the story is. From end to end, it's like a brain packet of information about who we are. I have this much money in the bank. If I check the bank account, this is how much money will be in there, right? This isn't, they're mostly unconscious. Sometimes they kind of reach the almost conscious, the pre-conscious level, right? But most of the time, they're just sort of running in the background. We don't notice them unless we take an action towards them, which is why the body also builds that behavior, right? The more you move in conjunction with something, the more you strengthen that story feedback loop, the more you agree with a story. Let's say you drive every day at 9 a.m. to go somewhere, right? You just go somewhere every day at 9 a.m. and you have to be on the road every day at 9 a.m. And every day at 9 a.m., the story tells you that you're going to see stupid drivers, right? See how this works? Like you are going to notice the stupid drivers more. You're going to notice people doing annoying things, even if it's not anything like out of the normal, it'll just get on your nerves, right? Like, why are they driving so slow? And then you'll notice, oh, I'm kind of driving kind of fast. If your brain even lets you get that far, right? And then, you know, sometimes it'll be something like, um, expecting people to act a certain way. You will act in a certain way that sort of starts their story system, right? Their story feedback loop about your stories together. This is how you create cohesion, right? You can have a cohesive two systems or even more, right? But that doesn't mean that they're actually in alignment and actually improving each other, right? So those story feedbacks can get sort of stuck because they look like safety. And they'll even convince you that it's growth if you're not careful. But if you're not moving towards who you actually want to be in the story at this point, if you are not deliberately intentionally focusing on the areas of what you want to experience, you'll just sort of follow whatever routines are in your environment. You'll follow whatever states, whatever scripts, whatever stories that people tell you, that the media tells you, whatever you're hearing, whatever information is available, your brain will cherry pick. Does this refer to me? Does this matter to me? Is this part of my values, priorities, moral code, whatever, an interest, you know? Is this engaging me? And I always say, keep in mind with the matrix construct, it seeks to engage you at all times. And engagement can mean a lot of things. You can be very happily engaged. Suffering is highly engaging, not gonna lie. It makes you pay attention. It makes you focus in hard on your reality, right? Not fun, but very engaging. But you want to be engaged in the ways that you enjoy, not the ways that the rest of the structure dictates. The rest of the structure is mostly emergent properties, just cause and effect, karma, stories playing out intertwined. And if you want to deliberately guide your story into the dimensions of story that you want and the experiences that you want, you need to be as aware as you can, to be paying attention, be doing mental check ins, be perfecting the pause, be noticing what you're thinking, noticing what you're doing, and noticing what stories you are believing about yourself that your mind or other people or other systems tell you, right? So I hope this has helped you understand a little bit more about using identity scripts to manifest your reality, to reveal those filters, to get the experiences that you want emerging from your actual physical reality. Because without these filters, without the understanding of being able to be aware of something in a certain context, it's, you know, you can't, it could be right in your face. It could be literally on a table right in front of you and you wouldn't see it. The mind uses cognitive blindness to save energy. So you have to rewrite the scripts to be able to experience those story points. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and sign up for the Method News newsletter in the description below.